Good afternoon. This is Jitin Joshi presenting my international business strategy, Qantas. Qantas is a leading airlines in Australia, founded in 1920, which is also second oldest airline in the world. It is founded by Hudson Fish and Paul McGuinness, Ferguson McAllister, which, which is headquarters at New South Wales, Australia, with 124 fleets. Till the company earned 5.98 billions in 2022, operating in Australia, North America, and other continents. Qantas has been facing challenges since COVID and post-COVID, which made uh, company to take strategic decisions. Macro and micro environment pestle uh, in pestle format. Uh, Qantas operating in political environment of Qantas. Uh, uh, Qantas operate in a highly political environment where each and every decision by the government will affect its operations, and it will affect the revenue also. So, in if whatever the decisions which the government take, it will affect the Qantas. And there was an allegation by the CEO after the COVID that there is limited government support for the airlines, and the reason war between Russia and Ukraine have affected the airline industry. It also directly affected the political scenario which the airline operates. Economical since economical environment, the Australia is being a developed country and the growth rate is 2.2. It suggests that it has a conducive environment for further improvement. Social environment, since it is tagged as a national carrier of Australia, the brand name, brand value which it garners is very high, so it is very favorable for Qantas. Technology techno Technological environment, the Australian government is planned to invest in developing sustainable energy, providing low-cost transport will be benefiting the Qantas by it will be able to provide low-cost fuels in the future if government takes such an initiative for investing in technology for bringing in feasible options for low-cost fuel. Environmental, due to the aviation fuel emissions, the company has to have to adapt and bring in new and cheaper and innovative ideas where there will be minimum amount of pollution. So that is a threat, or that is an threat or opportunity for further improvement. The legal scenario of Qantas is that there exists a law, Anti-Discrimination Law Act of 1988, where it give workplace inequality. So it is very feasible and positive for Qantas Airways. Industry analysis. What is five forces? Competitor rivalry. Even though Qantas is one of the biggest airlines in Australia, even though it has substantial customer base, it faces a major competition from Virgin Australia and Cathay Pacific, because they offer much more affordable rates, and they will always try to attract customers from Qantas to increase their market share. So competitor rivalry is more for Qantas. Substitute threats. It operates in a very competitive industry by providing many features for traveling economic way. And Australia being one of the vast country, so the since cheapest way to cover the vast destinations will be airways. So if Qantas is able to provide much more efficient way of transport which is affordable, the substitute threats will be moderate. New entrance threats. The industry is already consolidated with many prominent players, and for a new entrant, it requires high investment. So the threat of a new entrant will be very minimal. Bargaining bargaining power of buyers will be very high, because there are competitors who are ready to offer much more, another features much for more economical prices, which will make the customer switch switch from Qantas to other competitors. So the power of the buyers will be high. Suppliers bargaining power. It will be comparatively less because Qantas has standardized supply chain. So the negotiation power of suppliers will be much more low, and it won't affect the Qantas because there are another suppliers which already exist, which will cater the needs of Qantas. Internal analysis. Rio. Value. The brand has an identity of a national carrier, and it has been associated to that tagline from the times in inception. So the value, the customer perception value which the brand has is very high, and it is not going to come down the near future. Rare, since the organization is existing in a competitive industry which is already we have set of standards to follow. The is rarity is low. Inimitable. Condas is a company which offer high quality services, which has been followed for the past and almost 100 years. So they have set customized rules and quality offering, which cannot be imitated or imitable by the competitors. Organization. Condas has Condas organization. Condas has been existing, as I said in fewer slides. Um, it has been existing for the past 100 years. So they have again set standards and policies, management practices which cannot be copied, which cannot be copied or imitated by the other airlines. Stakeholder analysis. Menlos. The Qantas exists in a very high volatile market. Since the market is volatile, there will be a lot of people who will be showing interest. So the high power, high interest people. This will include the person who have high position in the company and outside, like the managers, who takes decision, who takes strategic decisions and make strategic planning, which will with high power and high interest, which will affect the Condas future progressions. High power and low interest. This scenario is like there will be politicians, other industrialists who have high power to influence the Condas strategic decisions or the environment, but they will not be interested to make that kind of decisions. Low power and high industry. In every industry, in every company, there will be workers who will be in the bottom line, who have high interest, but they cannot influence each and every policy or any policy at all of the company. Low power and low interest. There are people who doesn't want to travel by air or who is not associated with the industry, who will not be having the low any power or they will not be having any interest. SWOT analysis. The main thing is that strength of Qantas. Qantas has been Qantas has been there in the market from 1920. It's been the second oldest airline in the world. So it's already have a set market. And since after the COVID, even though there were challenges, the market is expected to go up, and the domestic market, right? There is a market is supposed to grow in the coming years. So and the areas of the other areas of operations of the developing economy is coming booming up. So there is a that is a strength and presence, and it's a tie up with the Australian Tourism Exchange. It is that strength which associate the Qantas with Australia. So whenever the people or whenever a customer think, whenever outsider think, it is already associated with the Australian. So that is a strength which that brand has, and it has a very high social media presence, and it has already perceived high brand value. The weaknesses of our past. It has a very uh, poor financial planning post COVID. The government complaining about not sorry, the CEO already complaining about the no government support to come after the post-COVID effects, and there was a strikes. There were strikes and issues of the Air Force engineers in Australia, and there is fierce competition from the rivals, and which affects its profit, and it has very ineffective pricing strategies. Opportunities. Since the market is about to boom, there are rising economies in Asia, Southeast Asia, and South America. There are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities to get into a new market, or expand in a new market, and also find new flying destinations. And Qantas has always opportunity to merge and form merge or acquire small airways and wider, then spread its market-based operations. Threats. Environmental conservation issues like air pollution, rising air fuel costs, presence of other players in the market are causing great threat to Qantas operations in the future. So it has to take strategic advanced decisions to minimize the threats. Strategic recommendations for Qantas. Market penetration. It is always advisable for a brand like Qantas, which is already exist in the market, to look for new market. So it will bring in new sources, look for new market like Southeast Asia or Africa, maybe for example, Africa for example, so that it will have a new market before any other competitor enters into that market. Improve CSR. The brand image has to be built Qantas much more again through corporate social responsibility spending. Mergers and acquisition. Another recommendation is that merger and acquisition is another strategy to increase its market share, increase its profit, increase its span of operation through mergers and acquisition, so that it will have the new companies under its holding, and they will be able to generate more profit for the brand. Innovation. The next is that find newer, cheaper, innovative ways, so that it ultimately benefits the customers. So it will attract consumers to stick on to the Qantas in the future. Scientific management theory. Qantas has been for have been have been sorry, Qantas have been affected with conflict, both internal and external. So it is always best way to adapt scientific management theory, so that they can manage their external and environmental environments. And I hereby stop my presentation, and thank you for the opportunity.